fairly uninspiring from Man City, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the game where City looked like a side lacking the leadership and the experience of Riyad Mahrez, of Ilkay Gundogan, and of other players of that kind of ilk. And of course, Rodri, who's still part of the squad, who can't play because of the sending off. We lacked ideas. We lacked ideas of how to drive the ball into Haaland. Haaland was absent, anonymous. Phil Foden played completely in the wrong position, in my opinion.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Ultimately, maybe a year later, was I correct about Haaland?
No, because he'll go on and score 30-odd, 40-odd goals a season, and you're statistically wrong.
Wait, so what are you trying to say? You're saying he's crap?
I'm just asking the question, Adam. Adam, I just asked the question.
Is he disrespected the establishment?
All I'm doing is asking the questions.
Yeah, but...
Was I right?
Obviously, you were deeply, fundamentally wrong in a way that no one else in this industry has been about anything before. But apart from that, you were right. Yes. No, but there is an observation there. What I think you're trying to say is that if he doesn't score in a game like this, does he build up play enough? Does he influence everyone around him? Does he make, a bit like the Brazilian Ronaldo, does he make players around him better as a striker? The wingers and the midfielders driving into the box. There's an argument in this game, individually speaking, he didn't do enough to influence the game when he doesn't score for us to be beating a side as good as Arsenal.
Without Kevin De Bruyne, is it fair to say he is the Norwegian Adi Akinbaye?
Of course not. What can I say?
Just asking a question.
He needs.
That's what we do on this podcast.
That's what I do. I ask questions.
We ask the important question. Another question.
Yeah.
Without Kevin De Bruyne, is he just the Norwegian Ollie McBurney?
We've got to show some respect. I mean, he's won more Premier Leagues in 1 year at City than you have in the last 10 years at Man United. So we have to show the kid some respect.
Whoa.
He's still a young kid, outscoring everyone.
In the last 10 years?
Yes, it's 2023 now. All right, so I've made sure of that.
So look,
can we stop? By the way, I've got to just no. I'm not having this kid get slandered by you two. Okay, this clip is brought to you by Super 6. We are aware there is currently an international break. It gives you time to sit back, reflect on how your team's doing, how Premier League sides are doing. So when Super 6 returns, you can get your predictions even more spot on to win £250,000 every single match round, all for free. That's an incredible offer. Make sure you download the app if you haven't already. It's Club 23 on the app to play with Adam, Rory, and myself, and 11,000 of you, of course, at home, and you can compete for some massive prizes. In this game,
I'm just asking questions.
It's Guardiola's responsibility. It's Guardiola's responsibility, and I think it will happen very soon for Haaland to be finding partnerships with people. It's all about partnerships for strikers, knowing where the ball's coming into your feet, your head, at what pace, where that's coming from. Sterling to Aguero is a great partnership. Yorkie and Cole, whatever. You need to have partnerships with Haaland, knowing where the ball's coming in from Doku. Is Doku starting from the right, from the left? Phil Foden, Grealish, who's starting these games?
I thought the problem against Arsenal on Sunday was in the second half, particularly, I felt like your options maybe changes if you have Rodri in the team or whatever, you'll be able to tell me. But I feel your first pass was to the centre-backs far too many times.
I think they wanted a draw. Adam, I think they wanted a draw. By the end, they wanted a draw. When I say the end, I mean 70 minutes. There's still a decent percentage of the game left. I think City thought a point was a good point, and they seem to take their foot off the gas. They seem to allow Arsenal belief, allow Arsenal into the game, and it's actually a performance from City that is unlike any other, because of course we've seen City drop points in big circumstances over the years. You know, when they lost to Tottenham on the opening day, or when Harry Kane scored that hat-trick, or whatever, we've seen it. But there seems to be almost an acquiescence from this City team that they weren't going to win the game, and I've never really seen that before.
No, and that's down to obviously you can have a belief as a club that we are Man City, we've just won the treble. That belief only goes so far until you've got the personnel on the pitch. And you look at the personnel, you think Núñez has just come from Wolves. I thought he was decent when he came on. Doku's a very, very young kid. You've got Gvardiol, I thought was decent. But there's a lot of change in the City side. They've gone to Arsenal, have got a very, very consistent 11. A lot of them were pushing for the Premier League title last season. Rice is a Premier League proven midfielder. Is Gvardiol doing the
things at left back that you want him to do, though?
He's doing enough at Guardiola's version of what a left back should be, which is obviously completely different to what I think it should be. I think a left back and a right back, like Kyle Walker, who played today, should be bombing on, stretching the defence for Arsenal. And there was one opportunity Guardiola had to do that. It was a great cross into Haaland, who missed it. Apart from that, when you have three centre-backs playing, one of them as a left-back, you become very immobile. You become very slow and a little bit too rugged. So I think we were lacking pace. Did we ever stretch Arsenal? Was there ever a moment you thought Zinchenko was getting done? Because you can do Zinchenko, believe me, you can get in behind him. And it never felt we were in behind Arsenal. And that's down to Arsenal's credit as well. I don't want to be sitting there saying, oh, City were just bad. Arsenal managed the game very, very well today. And for them to get a 1-0 win against City, I can't explain. We smashed them for 7 years in a row.
How can you be so?
Is it not just
how can you be so?
Common, then?
It's so easy to beat you without Rodri. So difficult to beat you with Rodri. How can it be that simple? How can one player be that important? How can a manager of Guardiola's quality not have come up with an answer to this problem? It's too easy.
But I think it's early in the season. He's tried to find an answer, and it was Kovacic and Rico Lewis. But Rico Lewis can balance out Kovacic's issues.
Before the game, that's 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's good. That's a great prediction from you. I was still unsure if it was if that was proven or not. We don't know. They've not played much together, and you're bang on with your prediction.
But when you think about what Rodri represents in that midfield, he is the personality, he is the fear factor, he is the imposing figure. Kovacic and Rico Lewis are not that.
He also looks after possession so well. He also makes other players feel... No, but I mean in the sense that he makes other players feel more confident in going forward, being able to push forward off the ball. When you've got Rodri sitting there, they're going to be able to push up a little bit more. When you've just got Kovacic there, who's a little bit... less mobile. He's a little bit.
But you can't bemoan a manager for not having a backup. So what was Benitez's backup when Gerrard got injured a lot? It's hard to fill people's boots. You can't have two Rodris in a squad. There isn't another Rodri in world football to sign.
All managers now, top managers. Arteta recently spoke about this. You need two good players per position, which is why they went and got Raya.
Of course.
And I think at various other positions, you've got Erling Haaland, you've got Julian Alvarez. You do have two good players per position, and yet that one, well, I suppose it's because Calvin Phillips didn't work out, isn't it?
And unless you can give me a name that we can feasibly sign that will sit on the bench and wait till Rodri doesn't play. Rodri played 55 games last season.
To get Declan Rice,
like that.
But he wouldn't have played 55 games if there'd been if Calvin Phillips had been the player that you thought he was when you bought him.
Yeah.
Or if
that's the nature of football. Signings don't always work out.
No, but if they don't work, you rectify the problem. We've seen Guardiola do that. Be proactive. I
think he's tried to do that. I think Nunes is a response. I think Kovacic is a response. But obviously, your lads' opinions on those two players are obviously important, especially Kovacic. You've seen a lot of him, Roars. I thought he was a fantastic signing. Did he struggle today? He did struggle today.
Should have been sent off.
Yes, yesterday. I think that's a fair argument.
Are you confident that you bounce back from this? Obviously, it's slightly frustrating for you because you've got an international break now. We've all got an international break now. It's frustrating for all of us. But slightly frustrating because you can't answer this problem immediately. Are you confident that you will come back from this, come back from what happened at Wolves? Back-to-back league defeats.
It's back-to-back league defeats. We've got Brighton at home in the league. That is a very, very hard game for City because it's going toe-to-toe with a side that can play out from the back.
No, absolutely not. Can't do that. Can't do that on this podcast, I'm afraid. That is now, you know how we've said in the past, we've held Arsenal to account, we've held Liverpool to account. You know when we've go, they have to win the game. They have to win the game because of what they've done. Arsenal had to beat you because they haven't beaten you for so long and because they dropped points to Fulham, because they dropped points to Tottenham, they had to beat you today. You have now got yourself into that situation. And Brighton, despite being a very good team, and I'm a big fan of De Zerbi, they can see goals for fun, mate. They can see they haven't had a clean sheet all season. So I'm afraid all you can talk about here is City winning the game.
I'm listening to you.
You cannot position this in any other way than we must win the game. And if we don't win the game, it's totally unacceptable.
I'm only positioning it in the sense that if you're going to lose to Arsenal and have a few players low on form, low on confidence throughout the squad for City, if there's going to be a side that you don't want to play after that, it's Brighton. It's a harder game. We should still be beating them. Young boys after that, and then Man United. And obviously,
Have you seen... there's been a search party sent out for you by Miles.
Have you seen a WhatsApp?
I'm not seeing that. Yeah, I don't follow. I've muted him on Twitter.
You've muted Miles. Why would you mute Miles?
I'm joking.
For things like that, I guess.
Muted him after we lost to Arsenal, I mean. But do you know what? All gas aside,
out, Miles.
Can I at least say the run that City have got in the league? Because this is interesting. Look, Bournemouth after Man United, so whatever. But Man United's a tough game, so it's at Old Trafford. Then City have got Chelsea away, Liverpool at home, Spurs at home, Villa away.
We're going to beat you.
If you beat me, I'm quitting the club. I mean, your side beats us.
If you beat me.
If you beat me, mate, no. But honestly, if City beat United,
If United are going to beat City, it's going to be 3 on the spin.
If United beat City, we're in a world of pain.
If it's 3 on the spin...
Guardiola have to go.
And then we've got Red Star Belgrade in December. That's going to be a world of pain. Maybe minus 12 degrees.
At what point do you start questioning Guardiola? Has he got to go?
Never, because he's the best manager the club's ever had. So he's the best manager that,
You've lost 3 of the last 4.
If Man United beat you, does he have to go?
To Adam McKola? What was his stats?
You lost against Newcastle, Wolves and Arsenal.
Mate, Guardiola?
How are you doing? You just got smashed by Galatasaray.
You're only as good as your last game. We just won.
Ultimately, does Guardiola have to go?
You know what, though? I don't know how you two felt watching that, but me watching that, I never once felt after the game, ooh, that's City fucked. I still think City will piss.
No, we'll cruise the league. They're soft.
I saw Foden and Haaland walking off the pitch, kind of half smiling, telling Arsenal players to calm down on that. Kind of just made me think.
I hope that ends though. By the time they get to the dressing room, that ends. They get a good bollocking from Guardiola because they deserve one. Because I do think
but
they
not deserve
themselves
one.
Down.
He played negatively in that game.
But who?
That comes from him.
Okay,
right?
give me a feasible tactical change you would have made based on the squad that City had available. I'm just asking you.
If you look at City in the first half.
I think it made sense to have Kovacic and Rico Lewis. I think it made sense.
No, forget the selection.
Right.
If you look at your team in the first half and the second half, in the second half, you played a lot more backwards passes. You played a lot more to your goal. It felt like you settled for a draw.
Yeah.
In the first half, you had more opportunities, and I think it was a good game.
Yeah.
Second half, I felt like it was a lot more.
But that happens a lot in football. A lot of the best managers always settled for a draw.
On the 60-minute mark,
rivals.
It felt like this is definitely going to be a 0-0, and City are all right with that.
And I'll get slagged off for saying this. This is the truth of what happened. If it wasn't for a heavily fluky goal from Martinelli, I think Arsenal deserved to win the game based on opportunities. They had more shots on target. And City, I'm not saying that, but City would have got a 0-0 if it wasn't for a deflected shot that was going out for throw-in.
I don't know.
That's the reality, and no one's going to say it.
I don't know if
it's going for a throw-in. We said it on the stream.
Hang on, but that goal, but no,
and Rory.
No, but that goal was the work of 4 substitutes. That's very much a Bravo McKola situation, isn't it?
Yeah, I can still say that if it wasn't for literal sheer luck, and sometimes you deserve luck.
I'm saying the 4 subs were involved in the goal. So it's not luck, is it? He didn't luckily bring subs on.
No, but he luckily kicked the ball in a direction. It wasn't going anywhere near the 2 posts that is the goal mouth, and it went into the goal mouth through luck.
Goal mouth. Goal mouth.
Listen, you can't be scared anyway.
It's like booting a ball there and it goes there. That's lucky.
It's so rattled, isn't it? Do you think you're gonna lose the league?
No.
That you are, aren't you?
They win the league by 10
We're competing against Liverpool are brittle as anything. We've got Arsenal as soft as anything, and Spurs are bottle. The Spurs haven't won anything since my granddad was born, let alone anyone else. So who are we competing with?
Mate,
by the way, we should be competing with United, who spent 1.6 billion quid, and you spent £1 billion in 12 months. We should be competing with you two, but you're both bottom half.
I'll tell you what's going on though.
No, I can see a glint in your eye. You're actually scared, and that's why you're saying I'm doing power plays and that. Yeah. You just feel overwhelmed. I'm just sitting here doing nothing.
Hold on a minute.
It's all going on in your head.
Move. You talk about Man United, and we've been abysmal. We've lost half of our games this season.
Yeah.
No, maybe more. But if we beat you, which is very possible at Old Trafford, we'd be 3 points behind you.
Oh, you're in a crisis.
Having lost
so this is United's standard, by the way, lads.
You're in a crisis.
So United, the great institution of Man United.
I never said that's
their
our
standard now is to be within 3 points of beating City if they beat us at Old Trafford, where they lost 6-3 last season.
Not what he said.
Not what I said.
Your standard now as a football club is to be 3 points within City. Can I
Manchester United just 4 out of 8 Premier League
I'm just going to have to check something with our producer. This is for the benefit of everyone listening to this podcast. Occasionally I have to just talk to our producer. Jack, are you happy to continue with Buvey in this terrible state? I mean, it feels like he's completely gone. Do we owe him a duty of care?